I have been with Scentsy since 2006. So celebrating 17 years this year with Scentsy. I started when I was 24 years old. I had a 2-year-old and I had an 8-month-old baby. And I was like, why not? I was a dance teacher. I taught violin lessons and I stayed at home with my kids doing all the activities. It was...
You can do it.
God. I could just stand up here and cry the whole time. It was a very busy and hectic phase of life, as I'm sure many of you may be in that same situation. But our life back then was totally different. My husband was working full time, and I had moved from Boise, Idaho area to Austin 2 years prior, and I didn't know a lot of people. And I really wanted to use Scentsy as a vehicle to meet new people. And so I took it by the reins, and I directed it and guided it, and I met a friend that sold another product for another direct sell company. And she gave me some advice, this young 24-year-old. She said, you just need to get outside of your circle of friends. You need to meet people and keep meeting people and keep meeting people and keep meeting people. And I was like, okay. So that's what I did. I started doing events. I started selling the heck out of Scentsy. And my first month, I was the top seller in the whole company. Like, it was a big deal. Guess how much it was? I sold like $2,600. How many of you have ever sold over that in a month? Some? Like, there's people that sell way over that. That's the only month I ever got it in the past 17 years. But I really focused in on doing events and meeting people and building a solid business. I worked my business every day. It created some issues at home because naturally things pull your attention and other things get left behind, right? But shortly thereafter, after the recession in 2009, my husband lost his job and he didn't work. He was in the real estate business and his boss was like, I can't pay you. So here you are. At the time, thankfully, I was making more money with Scentsy than he was. So it didn't financially hurt us, thankfully. We had built a great team of leaders. I was a superstar director. It was my first few years of being a superstar director. And thankfully, we had Scentsy to carry us through. It was really hard to be the sole provider for our family at that time. And 15 years later, guess what? I'm still the sole provider for our family. I have always loved Orville's quote, don't spend family money on Scentsy, spend Scentsy money on your family. But there was a phase where I wasn't living that. I was spending family money on Scentsy, and my husband was like, what are you doing? You're not making any money. Like, what are you doing? So if you're in that boat, I'm my husband, right? What are you doing? What are you doing? At that moment, I had to have a little self-reflection of, okay, yeah, what am I doing? What do I need to shift? And where do I need to change my focus? I was an avid annual sales earner. Every year I would earn the annual sales award. I did it probably for 8 or 9 years in a row. And it got to a point where I had to make a choice. As you all may or may not know, your compensation plan has 2 parts, right? You have your personal sales, where your income is limited. It's limited by what you can physically do. You can only sling so much wax, right? You can only do so much. But then there's this other side of the compensation plan that has no limit. It's building a team and helping them build a team and helping them build a team and so on and so forth. So I had to make a decision. I got to this crossroad and I was like, am I really gonna give up earning annual sales? I love and thoroughly enjoy walking across the stage every year at SFR. Like, that was such a prideful moment. Like, I felt so proud of myself for accomplishing that every year. And as many of you probably do every year. But I sat in that for a moment and realized, what's more important? I'm spending family money on Scentsy. My husband doesn't have a job. There needs to be a shift. So I decided one day, all right, I'm not gonna earn annual sales anymore. Now, this is not to say you should not aim to earn annual sales, right? I earned it a couple years ago, again, for the first time since I made this decision. I sell 2,000 PRV every month, as I have since I joined Scentsy, every month. I still sell the products. I don't bust my butt to sell the extra 500 every month because I know the difference that focusing on that $500 that I would need to hit annual sales every month on my team and my downline brings countless potential. So I made the decision. I was like, I'm not gonna do it. And at that point in my business, I had to shift my focus. I had to focus more on my leaders, my team, and helping them achieve their goals, which in turn helped me achieve mine, right? Looking and seeing that bigger picture made all the difference. Now, as we all know, there are things that cause us to stumble. And for a long time, after I had made this decision, I was pouring into so many people. But the thing is, some of them would pick up and be like, see ya, right? They're like, this isn't for me anymore. I have some stats, because I love numbers. So I have this fear. I'm an avid book reader. I read all kinds of books, you guys. But this book changed my life. It's called The DNA of Relationships by Dr. Gary Smalley. I would highly recommend it. Through reading this book, I discovered I had a fear of abandonment. I had some childhood trauma that led me to have this fear, but I didn't realize this until probably 5-6 years ago when I read this book, that I had this fear. And all through my Scentsy journey, I had hundreds of consultants leave the business. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, why? Why are you leaving? I was putting it on myself. And when I realized through this awesome book that that was my fear, I had to learn how to overcome that fear. I was pouring everything I could into my downline and into my team. And the second someone would walk away, I would just beat myself up. You did this. Why would you just are too aggressive. You're too stern and strict, or you name it. I told myself it. But is that the truth? No. All of us have things that cause us to struggle. Your fear, you all have a fear. I don't know what it is, but you all have a fear. And we all let that fear dictate what we do. I could have, oh, she's leaving. Okay, I'm just gonna back up a little bit. Oh, she's leaving. I'm gonna back up a little bit more. I'm just gonna slowly, I don't wanna offend anybody. I don't want them to leave. So I'm just gonna back off, right? But that's not what I did, because I knew that my worth and my success in this business was not determined by them leaving for whatever reason. So some numbers. Currently, as of today, Chuck Thompson texted me and told me that the latest person, okay, maybe this was 4 hours ago, so there's probably more people that have signed up, but the number of their consultant number this morning was 1,135,132, okay? Total, that have ever joined Scentsy, okay? Currently, Susan said this morning, and this is as of last month maybe, I don't know. Currently, Scentsy's active consultants that have a consultant login, right? 232,758 consultants. right? 20% of consultants ever in this business are still here today. 20%, 20.5%, okay? Is that not mind-blowing? Had I stepped back and kept backing up and like, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want anybody to leave. I don't want 80% of my people to leave. So I'm going to sit down and just be here and hope no one leaves. Would that have served me? No, it would not have. You all have chosen to stay. Now I know 75% of you are like within the last couple of years. So you have to take this to heart because you are the future of Scentsy. You are what Scentsy is going to be in a decade. Because guess what? Scentsy didn't sit down when, I don't even know, 900,000 consultants left them. Scentsy didn't sit down. They didn't say, oh, well, this is crap product. People must not like it. Why are we even selling this, right? They didn't do that. They're like, oh, I see you 232,000 consultants, and we see you, and we're going to be here for you because you are the ones that are making the difference. You are the ones that are showing up every day to work your business. And because of that, it is worth Scentsy to pour into us amazing products, LTOs, you name it, all the things. They're giving it all to us because they want to be the vehicle that helps us get to where we want to go. We can't change other people. We can't change their situations or who they connect with or where they're going in life. We can only change ourselves. So that's what I had to do. I had made this decision to stop earning annual sales because I saw the bigger picture, this 75% of the commission plan part that some people are like, I don't even know what that means, right? If you don't know what that means, you need to figure it out because it will change your life. We don't talk a lot about money in Scentsy. You make 25% on your sales. If you sell 2,000, you get 5% raise. But let's talk about this. What's this other side of the business income? When my husband lost his job, I had made my first $10,000 check in 1 month. In 1 month. It was not me selling $250,000 worth of Scentsy product, right? We know this. It was not me selling all this product. It was my team. It was all of you helping to fill your heart's desires and to help me fill my heart's desires. We're all in this together, building each other up, helping each other grow and continue to flourish in business is what this is all about. We have to look out for each other in all aspects of our lives. We have to understand what fear is holding you back. You have to be able to identify what is holding you back. And you have to be willing to share that with people. I have shared this abandonment issue with more people in the last couple years than I ever would have imagined. There's a list. He has a list of all the things that we fear. And it ends, I promise. And you can identify what it is that you fear. And once you do that, you will be able to understand yourself more fully. And you'll be able to understand how to get past it. I still, to this day, have consultants leave. I have consultants that have walked this journey with me for 16 years, lose their title of superstar director. Was it a reflection of me? No. I have consultants that, after 17 years, my first recruit, she lost all of her downline. She hit star director and was doing amazing, but something stifled her. Could I have been better? Sure, I could have been. But I can't choose her decisions and her actions as far as what she's going to do. So while I understand where I'm at in my business, 17 years almost later, you might be like, okay, this chick is not for me. Like, I don't even know who she is. Like, she hasn't even been where I've been. I will say that I have been there. I love Dave Ramsey. He is like epic when it comes to learning financial things. And I have learned, he has this phrase, I have interpreted it into business. He says, live like nobody else so you can live like nobody else, right? Live within a budget like nobody else lives in a budget so you can later live like nobody else. Well, I've twisted it a little bit and I say work like nobody else so that you can work like nobody else. I have spent years upon years building and growing and selling and just showing up every day consistently to build a business. I understood the compensation plan early on. And if you don't know the compensation plan, that is where you need to start. How many of you work 9 to 5? I didn't see the hands because I was up here. You all need to understand this compensation plan because you have the potential to make more money in this business than you make at your 9 to 5. Hands down. It's amazing how a simple product, wax and warmers for the most of it, right, can do what it has done for many consultants, myself included. I spent tirelessly hours upon hours working my butt off. My husband being pissed that I was going to do a party. He's like, all right, I see you. I'm going to the gym. Many issues, right? I worked like nobody else. And he asked me recently, would you do it all over again? Would you do it again like you did? 100%. My babies were little. My oldest is now her freshman year of college. She's my assistant that's left me, and I'm like, oh, where are you? She came home from Christmas, and she was in my office every day. It was so great. I've got a 17-year-old, a junior in high school. She is amazing. She is not in my office every day, but she's starting to because she realizes that I pay her. So that's a win. She's like, I need money. I'm like, I need help. And I have a 14-year-old boy who is such a fun age to be at. He is fun. No, he is. And we truly have been blessed by this business. It has changed the life that we would have been living. I can't imagine what life would have been like had I not had Scentsy when my husband lost his job. What we would be doing. Would we have to put our kids in daycare? Would I have to miss all of the opportunities that they're in, all of their activities? I only have to choose a few things a year that I have to miss. Last weekend, I had a leadership retreat, and my son he's raising a goat in the FFA, and he was showing his goat, and he was like, you're gonna be gone? Like, you never miss anything. And I'm like, yeah, sorry. And then he had the sale yesterday, and he's like, you're gonna be gone again? Like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm going to Paso. They don't know what it's like to have their parents not there. And Scentsy is the vehicle that did that. Scentsy is the way that we can accomplish anything that we want in life. Connections that we make with each other, connections that you made today, connections that you make with your customers, those are business altering connections. And while you spend your time reaching out to your customers and getting to know them on a personal level, your business will change. You have to be ready to accept the work that needs to go into this. It doesn't just come. I get all the time, you're so lucky you joined in 2006. You're so lucky. I'm like, You don't even know. I'm so lucky. Like, you don't even know what I sacrificed to get to where I'm at. That's this whole you work like nobody else, so that now I would say I'm on the other side of that spectrum. I work like nobody else. And it's so much fun. It is so rewarding. And my life is fully enriched and blessed because of this business. And you have to take responsibility for what you want your business to do for you. I can't tell you, well, I can tell you things you should do, right? But I tell this to my team and my leaders all the time. It doesn't matter what you do, it just matters that you do something. Pick something on your list and do it. And do it consistently. As you sell and sponsor new team members, you have to realize the importance of that relationship. And you have to put the work in the beginning, really intense, so that later your relationship is different and you can work like nobody else works, right? So make sure that when you are connecting with people, that you understand the impact that it has. We all have things that ail us. We all have these fears, but you have to learn how to get through those. And the way we do that, as Orville so eloquently shared, is through arrows out. We don't want to be stuck in this fear loop, just bouncing back and forth. Keep it circling, because guess what? I still have bad days. I still have hard times. I still have low months. We still have low years even. But is that going to stop me from going and doing? No, because I know the impact that it is. And I hope that after today, because most of you, this is your first event, I hope that you realize how lucky, how blessed you are to be here in this room, to share in this journey with each other, and to realize that this is the vehicle that will take you wherever you want to go. Thank you.